Hey, what's up YouTube? How are you doing? Welcome back to the channel, it's MCKOOKIE. So I finally got to play the Blight for the first time today, and I just want to give my first impressions on him. And honestly, dude, this is like the most fun I've had in Dead by Daylight in a really long time. The gameplay in the background is going to be really rough because this is my first time playing him ever. And I had to actually lower my sensitivity after this game because it's super hard to control. I'm playing on PS4, and I've been playing him for like the past 2 hours, and I've gotten a lot better at him. But this first game was rough for me. I'm trying to see what I can get away with, like what the angle is on his attack. I think it's like 45 degrees coming out of a lunge. But I think like the developers' behavior, they hit a home run with this killer. Like the little that I've played of him, he seems both fun and really strong at the same time. But at the same time, I played a lot of Survivor against him yesterday, and he's also super fun to like dodge his attacks or dead hard his attacks. So honestly, 10 out of 10. A lot of times when a new killer comes out, if they're too strong, it's kind of like Pyramid Head, where it's like, yeah, it's fun to play as a killer, but it's not really fun on the Survivor side. Like when Pyramid Head first came out, like he could tunnel people off of his cages because it can use Decisive Strike. None of that here. I think he's pretty well balanced. Probably the most balanced killer they've released in a very long time. And honestly, like I said, the most fun killer I've played in a very long time. It's like this game is really showing strides with the new killer. And honestly, my impressions with him, like I said, I think he's really strong. I think he's introduced some great killer perks as well that come with him. That new Hex Undying perk, the new Totem perk, is without a doubt, it's probably one of the top 5 killer perks in the game. Like I've been running this really funny like Ruin. Obviously, that's the big perk to use on him. But Ruin and Hex Haunted Grounds, it's like they get cleansed like 5 totems before Haunted Grounds goes up. And like it's amazing how long Ruin will stay up for because of Undying. Like it seems like Undying is always the first totem to get cleansed, so you almost have Undying, you always have Haunted Grounds. His perks are phenomenal. I haven't messed around with Dragon's Grip too much, but like everything else is pretty top tier in my opinion. So yeah, I haven't really had too much experience with the Dragon's Grip, but as far as the killer himself goes, most fun power to use in the entire game, hands down. Like it was a little rough. You see me like I'm not trying to win this game in the background. I'm trying to just see what I can get away with, like how this killer moves around and stuff. And it was a little rough for me at first. I'm not going to lie. I got a little nervous. I was like, okay, I hope this isn't like another, nurse killer for console where, they're really just PC only. But I've had really nice rush attacks. I've had some games that I've lost, but I've also had some games that I've won. And his power is super fun to use once you get the hang of it. And it's a lot like what True Talent was saying, where he's the king of catch-up. And what that basically means is when you're at a loop, right, like a basic loop, you just go through the loop, as a normal killer. You don't do anything fancy. You don't try and ping-pong around the loop or whatever and stop him. You basically just go in circles around the loop, and luckily he has base killer speed. He's at 115%, which is really nice. So you just get the loop over with. They put down the pallet right before you're about to hit them, whatever, yada yada. But as soon as you break the pallet, you just ping-pong and you haul ass, and you hit them or you down them before they get to the next area. And he is better than every killer in this game at doing that. His only competition is maybe Spirit with like movement speed add-ons and like the Yamakoa's Brooch, where she can like activate her power faster. But like Spirit, he can just catch up to a Survivor, and I think he moves as fast as Billy, but he's a lot harder to dodge just because you can come at such an off angle depending on what and when you bounce off of objects. So like Billy's chainsaw, for the most part, pretty easy to dodge. This guy, it's like, woo, I dodged him. It's like, did you? This guy can literally bounce past you, barely miss, hit a tree 180, and come back and smack you from the other side. I have done so many, like, off-the-wall bounce trick shots with this guy. It's amazing. Like, this killer is... At first, when I saw him, I was like, okay, they're out of ideas. This guy is underpowered. Behavior, what are you doing? But now that I've played him, like, even on console, he's fine. I had to turn the sensitivity down a little bit. I'm playing on, like, I think I'm on, like, 70 sensitivity. This bug is really annoying, by the way, in the background, where, like, you can't hang a survivor. You have to, like, drop them, pick them up, and, hook them again. Really obnoxious. But anyway, like, as far as Blight goes, honestly, like, 10 out of 10 killer. I think he's one of the better killers in the game. Like, if I had to put him on a tier list right now, I'd say if he's not top 5, like edging out Pyramid Head, he's definitely like honorable mention for top 5. Like the mobility is just ridiculous. You can like travel a map super fast. You have great synergy with barbecue and chili. Pop goes the weasel. I've been running the Ruin and Undying combo. And then I'll throw on Hex Devour Hope because I have a good shot of it actually lasting thanks to Undying. And even if my tokens reset, it's not too hard to get a bunch of hooks and get at least to the exposed status at 3 tokens. So honestly, he's super fun. It's just there's a little bit of a learning curve getting used to him. And I know he's new, so survivors haven't really developed like the best counterplay for him. Similar to Oni, he's got some dead angles. Like I said, his attack is only like 45 degrees, but he's really strong. Like I've had some insane like catching up to people where they don't expect it. Tinker, I think it's safe to say, might be the best perk for him just because you get undetectable status. But honestly, the best part about him, and I hope they don't nerf it, but they probably will, his green add-on that shows the auras of survivors within 16 meters of you is actually insane. Like, you can slam into a wall and you see where everybody is. It's so nuts. It's like a free I'm all ears. And it's just like, what the hell? And then you stack that with one of his red add-ons. It's basically like Spirit Fury and Enduring combined into one add-on, but better. It's the one that lets you break pallets and then Blight gets stunned for only 1.5 seconds. But also, in addition to that, whenever you use your rush attack, the survivors next to you move slower because they're hit with a hindered effect. So it's almost like Clown Gas, Slowdown combined with Spirit Fury Enduring, and that's all in one add-on. And then you stack that with this super addicting, I think it's called the 21 Tonic or something, the 21 Chemical Flask. The green one that shows you the auras when you slam is insane. I call it the Forever 21 add-on. That thing is so good. Like, this guy is so much fun. Like, I can lose a game. There's games where I lost or I only got like 1 kill, and I still had so much fun, like, losing, just because the attacks that I did land were so satisfying. And honestly, I feel like people who have high game sense, like really good killers who know the maps really well, they know the tiles and they know the angles of where to bounce off and win, are going to go really far in this game. And honestly, as long as he doesn't get nerfed, he's top tier. And if they ever do anything to his lunge that lets him have a little more control of his lunge, he could easily be like nurse level, in my opinion. Like, I'm not even exaggerating. If you had better control of your lunge attack coming out of the rush, like, this guy is nuts. This guy is crazy. Like, most killers get gen rushed, but this killer gen rushes survivors. Like, he's super nuts. So honestly, like, this whole DLC is amazing. And I guess that I don't have too much else to say about Blight for now. I want to keep getting better at him. I want to keep grinding him. If you're curious about a build that I recommend for him, I think Ruin with Undying and Devour is really fun. And then you could also have Pop Goes the Weasel with that for late game. Or if you want, you could do like Ruin, Corrupt with Undying, and then maybe Brutal Strength. I want to experiment with Brutal Strength because basically you can play like True Talent was saying, you play the catch-up game. So like you'll break a pallet faster and then you catch up to them faster. So it's basically like, of all the killers that have Brutal Strength, he would probably benefit the most because like a 20% difference doesn't for breaking pallets doesn't mean much on most killers, but when you have a killer that's as fast as this guy, you could literally catch up. That's the difference between catching up to a survivor before they get to the next loop and not doing it. And normally with other killers it doesn't matter because they don't have that catch-up potential. Now, a couple things, like, said I was done talking about him, but I'm not. A couple things I do not like about him is on some maps the collision is kind of wonky. He definitely has weak maps, like Rotten Fields is really rough. And survivors, they know that you have nothing in the corn to bounce off of, so you're kind of just a regular killer on like half that map. Another thing I don't like is that his point of view of the camera is so low to the ground it honestly feels like you're controlling a baby. I literally feel like a toddler or something. Like you're just a little kid who's like jacked up on Mountain Dew and you're like running around hitting people with your little walking stick. Like on the swamp map, it's really rough playing him because you're so low to the ground, and I've noticed survivors all have already caught on to this. It's really hard to see people in the reeds, in the weeds map, in the weeds parts of the Blackwater Swamp. It's really, really hard to see people. Like, and survivors that I'm playing against, they know this, and they go there, and it's really obnoxious. So like I don't know, like I would like them to raise his field of view camera, and I don't know if it's bugged right now, but a nice little feature he has that no other killer does is when he's breaking a pallet. I don't know if it's because of his camera or what, but you can actually have perfect view of the survivor while you're breaking the pallet, so you actually see where the survivor's going. Like every other killer, you know, like say you're playing Myers or whatever, they look down, they step on the pallet twice, and then they look up again. This character is like hitting it with his fist while looking straight ahead. It's like, dude, you're cheating. So I don't know if that's intentional or because the point of view of the camera is bugged, but I like it. I mean, I'll take it. I won't complain. But overall, really good killer, and then overall, like, a really good update, in my opinion. There's no game-breaking bugs besides the hook glitch where killers have trouble hooking people. They have to sometimes drop them or whatever. That's really annoying, and it's actually cost me a couple hooks, which is obnoxious. But the killer, 10 out of 10 for me. Super fun. The new killer perks are great. I think the new survivor with desperate measures and the item perk that lets you get your item back at 50% are also pretty good additions to the game. Pretty strong survivor perks. So it's nice that they're not adding completely useless perks. Hex Undying is like the best perk they've added to the game since Corrupt Intervention from like last summer when the Plague came out, in my opinion. And as far as like the new graphics update, the maps look really pretty. Like I love the new Killer Shack. I love how you can see like wires in the generator, and the generators look like V8 muscle car engines now. They look really nice, and then you can actually see the wiring and stuff in the generator. You're not just this guy pulling on pieces of metal. You actually look like you're hot wiring a bomb or something. It's really cool. And then the medi kits look all fancy. The chests are really nice. Like a chest, you're actually unlocking a chest now. You're not just sticking your hand in a box and digging around like a 1 foot box forever. That animation never really made any sense. Now it looks nice. And then the purple sky is really, really clean too, that they added on some maps. And the Yamakoa map looks really nice with the fall, the orange leaf trees that kind of look like fall. It gives me like Ghost of Tsushima vibes. So overall, guys, excellent DLC. Probably the best DLC in a long time. I wasn't really a fan of the Pyramid Head DLC. I'm not too big on Pyramid Head myself, and I hate Midwich. I think it's the worst map in the game that they've ever added. Like, I know Ormond is stronger for survivors, but when I'm playing killer, I'd rather play on Ormond than Midwich, because Midwich sucks for everyone. But as far as killers go, the Blight is awesome, and I highly recommend if you guys have the shards and you're into playing killer, definitely check him out. I think he's worth the purchase. He's got fantastic killer perks, like, honestly. Even if you end up not liking him, I think Hex Undying is like, it's like Thrill of the Hunt on steroids. So, honestly, 10 out of 10 DLC, and those are basically my first impressions, and this is my first game ever playing the Blight, so excuse me if it was a little rough. I know I think I tunneled a rank 13 meg at some point. Feels bad, man. Actual hands of Pepe. But anyway, guys, I'll leave you with the rest of the game, and if you enjoyed the video, give it a like and sub for more, and let me comment down below. Let me know what you think of the Blight. How are you guys liking the Blight from both sides? If you mostly play Survivor and you play against him, do you guys like playing against him? Do you think he's OP? Do you think he's weak? Let me know where you guys think. Where do you think he stands right now? I personally love him. I think he's great. I'll catch y'all later. MCKOOKIE out.